Today, I want to talk about how to actually come up with original ideas for YouTube videos, because I would say this is probably the single biggest problem that people come to us with. And then when people are kind of just getting and becoming clients of ours, they're still kind of stuck on like, what videos do I make? And they want to do it originally. They don't want to sound like their competition. They don't want to just regurgitate the same shit that they're always seeing and all their competitors are doing. The problem lies they don't have a system or a way to actually come up with those ideas. So I'm going to break down kind of the ways, like there's really 6 ways that I kind of like to view it, and then one kind of action step of how to actually get it done. So I'm going to just go bit by bit here and kind of go through what I've uncovered and kind of discovered for how to actually come up with original ideas. So there's a problem with ideas. So I'll just kind of read these points and kind of elaborate on the ones that make sense. But most creators think they have a consistency problem, but the real issue is ideas. Let me zoom in here for my own sake. They run out of ideas because they keep drawing from the same well. Same channel, same creators, same prompts, same AI, all the same stuff. The issue is that they feel that the ideas are like this magical data source, like this vidIQ or this 1 of 10 or this outlier score or whatever the like case is or whatever the situation is. They're literally looking for gold where it doesn't exist. Because the problem, if you are looking for ideas, it's not really that unique. And if you're basically copying your competition, and you're looking at what they already have, you're looking at what they've already done, you're already behind. You're already starting from the wrong place. And that's where people get held up. So they watch everything the same people watch, and they wonder why their content sounds like everyone else on the internet. This is, and I would say this is where I do things quite differently, where I've learned over the years of doing YouTube for a long time now and have been making content. I've been a part of channels, businesses that have used it as the sole marketing channel. And I would say what always set it apart was that we never wanted to compare ourselves to the competition, because what they did to get views, what they did to build an audience, what they did to get clients was their unique way. Now, a lot of times this is where it's tricky. They didn't actually fucking know that. Like, they just did something and it worked. And in very few cases, in very select businesses and entrepreneurs will actually look at what they did and kind of reverse engineer the damn thing. Most of the time, they're just out there like, well, it worked, so let's do more of it. And they just keep on going. You end up copying someone who doesn't really know what they're fully doing. It's like the blind leading the blind with the ideation process. So you definitely want to avoid that at all costs. So what nobody tells you is that most content ideas aren't original. They're just well-discussed copies of something else someone else has already made. I like to view this differently, and I'll kind of tie this into how I kind of view the process here, but I like to use combinations. And what does that mean is like a really simple way I like to view YouTube is you take creator A, B, and C, and you can take how the presentation style of A, you take the length of B, and you take the production style of C. Now, these are things that you like. And the key thing I'll get to was down here, and I actually talked about this in other videos, is this helps you get the formatting down. So if you like how he presents the videos, you like how they are structured in terms of it's a 7-minute video or a 20-minute video, or mine go 30 to 60. And then the other side is like, what is the actual, are they in just a room like this? Or are they in an actual studio? Are they outside? Whatever. You want to take the things that excite you out of each one of those. If you take the piece that excites you from one of those there, A, B, and C, that's how you make your own unique packaging, formatting, and all the stuff that makes the video unique to you, that allows you to take maybe not a fully original idea, but an original way it's presented that is unique to you. So that's kind of the issue with ideas in my perspective, is they're never really, you're never out of ideas, just looking in the wrong places, and you're either copying people, which never leads in the right direction. So let's go to point number 2. Where do ideas actually come from? So original ideas come from 3 places. These are the only places they ever come from. They could vary if you're like a Mr. Beast type or whatever, but if you're really like any type of coach, consultant, any kind of expert business, a content creator for like affiliate marketing, a school group, whatever, you're pretty much going to get in from these. Consumption, so that's watching videos, YouTube, whatever, it could be other places, reading books, scrolling social media. This is the most common, where like you're either scrolling YouTube or you're scrolling Instagram, and you kind of find, I like that video, like that, you say that, your brain kind of just gets trained to like go down these rabbit holes. It's the most common way. It's also the least original. You're basically remixing someone else's thinking and thought patterns. It can work. It just doesn't make you original. There's like this video about original ideas. Original ideas don't come from consumption in that way. They come from probably other sources. Before I get to experience, I'm going to touch on this. I like to read either books for this, other podcasts, or I like to take from other niches entirely. Not talking head selling business or whatever. I like to look at other channels in totally different niches of mine that are, maybe there's overlap of the audience, like the ideal viewer profile may have a little overlap. But in reality, the majority of the stuff that I like to model is stuff I like to watch. And that's how I try to find the ideas in terms of how they're structuring content, their ideas, their analogies. Those are the kind of things that I like to borrow and steal from those. Second one here is experience. So ideas that come from things you're actively living, doing, and figuring out in real time hit different because they're uniquely yours and monetize your specific angle on what you're going through or doing. So this is really easy for us. And I do this, like most of these videos that I make are pretty much either things I've experienced in my own businesses or things I'm actively experiencing with clients day to day, week to week. And this is the easiest way to make content. This is the most original, and this is the stuff that's always going to hit the hardest. If you can make content that you're doing with your clients, that is a one-to-one translation for your clients wanting to work with you, for future clients wanting to work with you. You show the work and you show the work and the processes with your current clients. That makes your future clients, like, it's basically a direct handoff from your YouTube content into your actual paid programming, coaching, whatever you do, your services, because it is the easiest way to showcase it. It's also, I found, like, when I do these videos here, like right now, I'm literally in the room. There's just the camera and the lights, a Google Doc that you're also looking at on the screen, and I'm looking at here on the computer. This makes it incredibly easy for me because I am basically documenting things I did this week with our clients, or things I learned from our calls or sales calls or whatever the case was. This is how I'm able to experience. I'm basically delivering on the experiences I've already had. It makes you unique. You can do things with your own specific contrarian takes, and it allows you not to get stuck in what are other people doing, what are my competitors doing. You can do your own, you can kind of carve your own path. Number 3 is connecting the dots. So when you pull infos from multiple sources, which I kind of touched on this one in point 1, and run them through your own judgment to arrive somewhere new, that synthesis is where the most original ideas live. The formula is experience plus consumption plus your synthesis equals original idea. You can do a combination of all the three. I like to typically, I kind of have like almost a habit of combining bits and pieces. So I always like to consume different things. So I will obviously consume things in my own niche, but I like to, for creation purposes, consume things outside of my niche so I'm not regurgitating the same shit someone else already said. Part 1. Part 2 is I like to draw on current experiences or past experiences that I like either really fucked up or did really well. Like they're like to be extremes. Like I either lost a ton of money with this method, made a shitload of money. I don't like the middle ground kind of stuff. Like that doesn't usually land as well for like past experience. Or the great thing about in the middle experience, like current active experience you're doing day to day, week to week, month to month, it allows you to explain, showcase the mundane. You can show, here's how like a mundane set call or a sales call went, or a coaching call or a fitness check-in call with a client, or like the mundane shit. You can, if you're doing it in real time and document it in real time through experience, you don't have to get as creative with the presentation and the packaging of it. It can be a lot more natural. And obviously your own synthesis, that is connecting the dots. So you be able to take multiple sources and then get in one. That's how I do it now. That was a skill I've built. I made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. So a lot of those I made were previous channels. Also tons of course content, tons of module, tons of behind the paywall content. And that's what I have most of my reps in. And the reality is that all of it now, all the videos I make now, so all the YouTube videos and all the videos you even do internally are pretty much 100% synthesis type videos that are all based off of things I've done, things I've consumed, things I'm currently experiencing, making it all one. So this is how you actually get the ideas. And we actually work clients to literally get the ideas out because this is really the most important part. Like I literally did calls with one of our clients. His name is Chase. And I just spent like an hour with him digging in to help him get the original formatting. Like what is the way he wants to present the video? What are his ideas that are unique? And what are the videos that he wished existed on YouTube? And that's what we helped him make. Just basically getting the connecting the dots process out of his head, onto the page, into a video. On to the next one. More connecting the dots. So you don't need to be completely original thought, just your own take on a collision of ideas. Here's what it's taking practice. So this is already this, but this is like probably the most important part of this video is this method, because I think it's probably, I mean, there's probably other people doing this, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this because it definitely takes some muscle and you're not like in a Google Doc. You're not just in Claude. You're not maybe brainstorming on a call, like it's a multi-hour, multi-day type of thing per video. Like you're doing multiple things to kind of get it to connect. So here's my podcast. It doesn't directly hand you an idea, but it's something that connects what you would have been experiencing in your brain or somewhere no one else would. So this is like, I'm going to give an example that I actually just did recently. How I get all of my videos is I take my phone, and when I have an idea, I record a voice note. So just the voice memos app on the iPhone. Super simple. Then that could be between 30 seconds and 30 minutes. Like I don't actually have a time. It's just like I kind of just go until I'm done with a thought. And I had this thought, like I literally had a voice note of how to come up with original ideas for YouTube. That wasn't a title. It was something probably just like original ideas or something like a little more vague. And from there, all I did was just yap into the phone for, I think this was like 12 minutes. Into the phone, 12 minutes of talking. I took that voice note, put it into our own internal, we use Victor within Slack for us. It doesn't matter because any AI tool, all you're trying to do is get the transcript out and get it into a cohesive, coherent document that you could at least read, review, like get it out of your head onto paper. It's basically just like AI note taking for the most part. And with that flow, I was able to take that voice note into our Victor within our Slack, then into this document here that I then refine, massage, go through the sentences, rewrite everything. It's like this is actually my writing when I go through it. And that is how I make the videos. So that's my workflow for getting original ideas of connecting the dots. The reason why the voice note thing is so powerful, your phone's always in your fucking pocket. If it's in your pocket, you're then able to then do whatever. You could be anywhere, out for a walk, out to dinner, at the gym, walking around the house, at the office, doesn't matter. You're able to you're not beholden. So the key thing, don't make yourself make them. Get in the habit. I try to tell our clients, like get in the habit of just doing the voice notes. So if you want to make, ideally you're doing 2, 3, 4 voice notes a day of just random shit. And once you get that muscle, like you probably only make 10 to 20% of the things you ever record. That's fine. But if you did 5 a day, you basically have a video idea every single day that you could record if you really wanted or needed to for your business. That's the difference. So that's how the connected dots really works. It's easy in practice. It's actually harder to explain. It's a lot easier to just do it. Like record some voice notes, like see a podcast, see how this person explaining a podcast or a concept in a video or a book or a conversation you had, how it ties into your offer, business, service, whatever. Quite simple when you think about it. All right, now we're going to talk about what I call shaking the snow globe. So this is a little phrase I use all the time internally. And it's a really simple exercise. And this basically just kind of breaks your frame on the sources of information and understanding how to brainstorm in a pattern breaking way. The problem with brainstorming now is it's almost exclusively done with AI. AI will save you time, but it will not bring original ideas. It will just always yes, ma'am, whatever the hell you're saying, which is awful in almost all cases, and especially for content ideas, because it's going to say, I have this idea for here's the strategy, the video topic, the title, the outline. It's like, we're doing amazing. This is great. And it's like, it's not fucking great. It's literally just regurgitated from something else that it's scraped from some transcript on some video of some reel or some YouTube video or whatever. There's nothing original about it. And you wonder why those videos don't work, because no one wants to watch that shit. Think about it. Why would you want to watch that kind of video that was ideated in that way? No. Would you want to watch anything that was scripted in that very like rigidly boxed in way? No. No one would want to watch that. So don't think that you're special because you found this fancy way to get the idea out. It's not the case. So this is where I will kind of dive into, I'll explain these points here, and then I kind of want to go into how I actually do this in a little more in practice. Like I kind of do with the voice notes, but this is a little bit of a further way of how I take inputs. If you model other channels and videos, you take a break from the input source entirely. So I'm a big YouTube consumer personally. So for me, I actually can get better ideas for YouTube videos on podcasts, books, and reels. I actually get a lot of ideas from those 3 places, and also like client interactions and stuff. So client calls. That's where the majority of my shaking this logo comes from. Because if I watch way more YouTube than like that is my most consumed app or platform between them all, like is like my personal consumption, which means I get down echo chambers. I'm seeing the same types of thumbnails, same types of videos, same types of scripting, same types of formatting. Everything is like pretty similar. I need to break out of that by other sources. So I look at those to get ideas, and I don't get the full idea. It's like, how did they start this? Like, what's the flow of this? What's the what's the intent? Look, what's the intent of this podcast episode? What are they trying to get to? What's the story they're telling? What are the analogies they use? These are all things that I love to look at that are really tough to do if you're stuck in this echo chamber, how you normally consume content. So just keep that in mind. If you pull from written ideas, which probably a lot of people don't, like maybe you do, like Twitter or newsletter, I'd recommend like getting I wouldn't say get into reels. It's probably a bad idea. I would say if you do a lot of written stuff or shorts, I would look at longs. So long form anything, could be streams, live shows, podcasts, whatever. I would encourage that. Then when you start feeding your brain the same inputs, your thought patterns shift, your lens on the world changes, the original idea starts surfacing into the space you've created. Fancy little sentence here. The main point here, when you start changing your pattern or you start breaking your patterns of your inputs, it becomes really, really easy to then create new outputs. Different inputs, different outputs. No different here. And we're trying to be creative and with somewhat of a system. If you want to be an idea machine, you have to have a constant flow of you understanding how to spot patterns, spot things that are interesting, and be able to document them in real time so that you can make it really easy to get the idea from, I had an idea or I spotted something, into a voice note or written down or something down the chain. Create space for those ideas in your schedule, in your routine, and how you move through your day, because these are ideas that are already there. You just need room to surface. I typically try to have probably like 5 to 20 minutes a day that are at least to just, and that's why I said 5, so it's not that much time, to just allow, like, I have an idea. I'm just going to go for a walk, or I'm going to take 5 minutes and pop up in a Loom video or hit a voice note here or whatever. And I'm just going to record an idea. And maybe I do a 1 minute video, 2 minute or 2 minute voice note, do another one, whatever. And that cadence and that flow is how you just build that muscle where you're able to create the space so that you can then like I said, every 10, 20% will hit, then you got an idea. So previous how this video started, like I said, I recorded this voice note. I forgot about this actually. I was literally cleaning up the kitchen after dinner. We made dinner, I think it was like 9 o'clock at night. And I recorded this voice note, and actually it was my first million podcasts with Sean Purry and Sam Parr. And I was just listening to like the second half of an episode I started like the day before or something like that. And there was something in there about like original ideas for businesses. Like, how do you come up with original ideas? Like, I think the concept was actually like, should you copycat a business or should you come up with an original idea for a business or a product? And that was the debate. And I was like, and they were saying like, and why I thought of this is because they were saying it's always a better idea to follow up. Don't be first, be like second, third, fourth, and make it better, faster, cheaper, whatever the case is. Like, cool. That I get for business, because you don't always want to be the first one to market for a whole host of reasons. But I was like, well, for YouTube, it's kind of the opposite, because YouTube's already a platform. So we're not starting a business here. It's not from scratch. And if I zoom out, I'm like, well, the best content is original. Like it was the first of its kind, not the best. It was the first. And I was like, oh, interesting. So and then my brain was going, and I was like, original ideas. But literally stop what I was doing. I think I had some fucking water in my hands. I literally just like hit the phone, went to the Voices app, tapped it open, had AirPods in. It was just like recorded a bit. I think it was probably this was like 3 or 4 minutes. Took this, and that became the whole idea of this document that we're doing right now for this video. So this was a simple concept, but it was just an idea. And I've just told myself, I can make videos about whatever the fuck I want. I can make a video like this. I can make a video where it's much more structured. I'll do videos where I'll have slideshows. I'll have videos where it's like more on-screen demonstration, whatever. But the key thing is that I created the space. I built the habit to do it. And I was able to just capture this moment that now we have a video here. So this is how it works in real time and how it's kind of just fits into your day-to-day pretty easy. So why this matters for you? Like, what does this mean? So when you feel stuck on ideas, you make zero content. That's the problem. When you make zero traction, zero momentum, it's impossible to build a channel without all these three. You must be able to have ideas and make content. And the only way to get momentum is to publish consistently, whether it's daily, weekly, a few times a week. You have to be able to build the momentum that you're not otherwise doing. Key. The creators who win long-term aren't the ones who are the best at top of research process. The ones who are built a life and a practice that generates ideas consistently without forcing it. The goal isn't finding the perfect idea. It's having so many ideas flowing that what do I do to make the next is never a question you have to ask. Basically, I've really figured out that the people that win are clients that win the most, the videos that do the best, my videos that have done the best, everyone's videos that perform the best for their business are almost always never about the perfect research process. They're almost always like, I had an idea, there was a problem, I saw a gap, and then I quickly acted. I recorded on the phone. I did a voice note. I put it in a document. I go. You ride the momentum of the idea, the energy, the thought, whatever, and go with it. Don't wait. Don't like, okay, I'll do that next month, next week. Like, do it today, right now. At least get a voice note going today. At least get a note going today. Because if you lose the momentum of the idea, you'll lose the excitement. It'll trail off and it'll disappear. That's how you fix that. Now, what do you do here? Bank ideas the moment they hit you, and you build a practice that creates the space for those. I've been trying to beat this like a dead horse here. The main thing is you have to have a system. Now, I like voice notes. I'm a terrible typer. I cannot spell very well. I'm like awful at typing. Everything I do is like call, loom, voice note, audio. Cool. That works really well for me. Other people love like taking notes on their phone. Even writing in a notebook is fine too. Like whatever you can, if you see thing, you can document thing. If that, whatever you need to do, I don't care if it's even a video. I've actually used to do that too. Is like, I will do like a selfie video because it makes it to where I can see like what I'm trying to portray with my face, my facial expressing. That's also why I like voice notes, because voice notes get the tone. Tonality is huge with YouTube and videos. The tone, you could say the same thing in a different way with a different tone, totally different saying. It means something completely different sometimes. And I think that the audio nature, whether it's video or visual or audio, is huge for this process because you're not stuck in 5 little bullet points you put in a notes app. I'm biased, obviously, but that's what I recommend. So you want to pull from your experience first, consumption second, and then synthesize the two together. The combination is what makes your content sound like no one else's, because it is no one else's. It is yours. When you're able to understand the two, is like, I have a unique skill that I built of consumption. So for example, and this is probably not something that everyone would want to do, but I'll consume anything at 2 to 3x speed. I'm talking a TV show. Like I'll have a TV show on that maybe I've like seen part of it before or whatever, and even a new one sometimes. And I will do 2 to 3x speed on the show. Now that's like, well, why the fuck are you even watching it? It's like, I'm actually more interested in like the character building, the story arc, where this is going. I'm not that interested in like being entertained by it as much as I'm like, interesting, why did they write it this way? Why did they structure it this way? Why is the character acting this way? Where is this going to go for season 2? Like I'm more curious about that. And I'm able to really consume stuff. So for me, the consumption is like quickly getting a burr. I'm not trying to look like, if it's a 30-minute YouTube video about whatever, some type of, sometimes like diet, let's say, just for example, some type of like method of eating or a diet or a meal plan. I'm going to look at like 20 videos around the same topic in 3x speed. That way I'm kind of getting just like broad strokes of the details of it. Like I'm not getting into the weeds of one specific person or method. I'm kind of getting broad strokes across the board. Then I can think, okay, there's like a consistency, there's a trend, there's a zeitgeist happening here across this type of video, these types of channels, whatever. And then I can kind of start to synthesize in my head, like, okay, here's what I believe, here's what they're doing, here's what I think the intersection point is in the middle, and here's how I can kind of here's how I would make a video off of this. Here's my take on this. Here's my stance on this, or my quick reactive stance, which is oftentimes what people want to hear and see. So this is the way to kind of structure it. And like I said, if you want to build a YouTube channel that sounds like you and only you, this is where it starts. And I say this in every video at some point or somewhere. You have your ideal viewer profile. You start with that. So who are your ideal viewers? What are they watching? How do they consume? What do they like? What do they don't like? Everything about them. Turn them into a raving fan. Then and only then will they become a buyer, in that order. And that's always the key thing. So it always is an idea, and it's a simple process for getting the ideas. Hopefully this video kind of outlaid what I do. There's really only a few steps here and a few kind of concepts, but really it's understanding that it is a system that you kind of build into your life and you can do pretty much any day. So that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you in the next one.